Excited to welcome everyone to today's webinar, which is Dynamics CRM Maintenance, the metrics you need to know and steps you need to take, part 2. My name is Olivia Johnston, and I am the Assistant Account Executive here at FMT Consultants, and I'm joined by Jeff Henry, CRM and SharePoint Solution Consultant. Our agenda for today is going to be a brief overview of our company, ROI on marketing, sales metrics, and system maintenance. For those of you who aren't familiar with FMT, I'd like to take a few moments to give you a brief introduction of our company. Here at FMT, we have successfully completed over 1,000 projects. We have been in business since 1995 and recently celebrated our 20th year anniversary. We are Southern California's leading provider of Microsoft integrated solutions and have over 230 clients in both the United States and Canada. Our team has significantly grown over the years, currently close to 80 team members, both in northern San Diego as well as Los Angeles. At FMT, we pride ourselves on our 5 core values: integrity, service excellence, collaboration, innovation, and passion. But why choose FMT? With a combination of talent, experience, and methodology, we are fully dedicated to the success of your company. We offer a wide array of services pertaining to ERP, CRM, SharePoint, BI, and Office 365. In addition to having extremely experienced consultants, we also have a dedicated help desk that offer ongoing training and support after projects are completed. Not only do we pride ourselves on our product expertise and multiple offerings, but we have won a handful of awards including Best Places to Work as well as multiple small business awards. Here are just a few of the clients we get the privilege to work with on a daily basis, and of course we hope to one day add your company to that list. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Jeff, but before I do, if at any time during the presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the comment box, and we'll be monitoring them during the entire presentation. Thank you, and now I'm going to pass it off to Jeff.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining. We're going to begin the demonstration with looking at marketing and building the business. So within CRM, we start with source campaigns, and this allows us to set budgets and track expenses against those budgets, plan with our activities that will be associated with each campaign, build marketing lists based on accounts, contacts, or leads, and then of course track those source campaigns as they go through the lead qualification process. Then they become an opportunity, which is then won or lost. And as they are won, we can see how that comes back to our marketing campaigns to check the effectiveness of how we are performing within the space. So we're actually going to do a live demonstration within a system. So I'm just going to bring this over. And navigation within CRM, in case you're unfamiliar, is very uniform. It's much like operating within any web page. We have a navigation bar here at the top. So bringing this over to marketing, we can actually see that there's a campaign section set aside. We will go in, and it gives us the ability to look at all of the different campaigns that we have assigned to myself right now. There's also the drop down that you can see inactive or just all campaigns and so forth. So let's take a look at one of the efforts here, which is the direct marketing. So now in this, we've actually went ahead and paid a sum of $26,000 or $20,600 to be able to capture this lead list. So what we can do at this point is track how these leads are turning into opportunities. So now that I have this source campaign set up to the lead list, let's head on over to leads, because this will be passed over to our sales team, who then do the qualification calls, set up the opportunities, walk through the sales cycle, and then close that opportunity as one. So here we have Alice Brown. Allison Brown was in that direct marketing campaign. So here's our lead record for her. We have an estimated budget amount she's expressed as being $1,800, or $1,800,000. And you can see down here at the bottom, this source campaign is connected to direct marketing. Now, before we qualify this lead into the opportunity and close it as one, I want to take a look at our dashboards and show you how reporting is fed back based on those campaigns. So right here you can see revenue generated by campaign, and here is the direct marketing source campaign that we're about to affect. So now if I ever want to take a larger look at this, I can click on this bar over here, and that'll actually make this a full window. And as you can see right now, we're looking at direct marketing is generated for us 34,906,000 some change. Now I can also pull up the actual data that then drives this chart, but since we're able to see that figure, we can just go ahead and do the lead qualification. So back as a sales rep, I've gone in with the lead, and I'm opening up this particular lead. This is fallen onto my dashboard. It's somebody that I need to follow up with, and I am walking through this qualification process. Now I know that this person has already expressed an interest, and they say that their estimated budget again is 1.8 million. So I can go ahead and just say qualify this. So at this point, I'm going to turn this lead into an opportunity, an account, and a contact. So in the background here, you can see this has come from the lead record is now a contact record associated to the phone company account. We have a budgeted amount of 1.8 million, and this is within our opportunity form. When we're ready to close this opportunity as one, it will actually send this estimated revenue. We can edit this information and have it become the actual revenue of the opportunity when we win it. Now, you might notice here that there's actually a business process flow bar, and this will give you the ability to control the sales cycle through this opportunity to ensure that it is following a standard method, that you're capturing all the information required for billing, for example, to execute the project or the order. So that way, if the product needs to be selected with a particular version number or so forth, you know what you're going to be delivering to that end customer by the time that you're done with this opportunity. We're just going to refresh the screen here for a second. So again, Allison Brown is now the contact. She's from the phone company, and our budgeted amount is 1.8 million. So we're going to go ahead and say, through our conversation with Allison, we've discovered that this is going to be a $1.5 million deal. Now I can say that my estimated close date is going to say I'm expecting this to close by the end of the week, but obviously we're going to be closing that right now. Now this is all saved in our opportunity, and this gives us the ability to monitor all the different activities that are going on with the opportunity, be it that there's phone calls or email messages going back and forth. All of these things will be posted up here, and I can also follow this as a sales rep, looking at maybe I'm working with a colleague and I want to be able to collaborate or add some assistance to a large deal like this. So at this point, we're going to say it's closed as one. So what this has done is taken the estimated revenue and brought it over to actual revenue. And so you can see the close date is automatically set to today. And I can give a description. This is very effective for when looking at opportunities lost, because you can see maybe your marketing campaigns are not effectively meeting the right leads, which could of course increase the cost of lead revenue. So at this point, we now have this as a one opportunity for 1.5 million. Now if I go back to the dashboard that I was just looking at, I can see that my direct marketing has now changed. I now have 1.5 million added to my previous sum, which this shows me that my source campaign of direct marketing has generated this much revenue. So that's how marketing is created through campaigns and we're able to see how this list of leads is associated with this direct marketing campaign, and I've turned this one into, as you can see here, a qualified lead, which then was turned into the opportunity, and by closing that as one, we're able to reflect that on our dashboards, all real time. So the next item we want to look at is sales performance, which is a nice segue because we've seen how the front end works, being that it's marketing, and now we want to look more into how does sales work. So again, dashboards is a great resource out of the system, and this gives us the ability to go into various sales types of dashboards, all of which are customizable, and I've set this to be for me as a sales rep. And you can see here we have the opportunity pipeline by sales stage, and this is the business process flow that we saw above on the opportunity. So as I'm walking each opportunity through these stages, they are categorized by that stage that they're in, and the estimated revenue is summed to show how many opportunities are within each stage. So you can see here, it would make sense. I have $34 million that is qualified because as that goes to a more finishing stage of my opportunity life cycle, some of those opportunities are going to fall off. So these will close out as lost until you get to your final bucket, which is saying that all these 2.1 million is in the close business process stage. Now if we move over to the goals, this actually gives me insight as a sales rep of what's expected, what I have in progress, and what type of money I've actually earned. So that means won opportunities that turned into actual revenue from the estimated revenue shows up as a blue bar. And so what happens is this blue bar will grow up until it gets to the target. This circle represents the target money that's required for me to be able to meet my Q2 goal. So my in progress is open opportunities with their estimated revenue. Looks like I'm pretty well established with open opportunities. So the way that I would use this in a real world scenario is to call on openly or open opportunities. Instead of calling on leads necessarily, I need to be closing some of these opportunities so that I can fill in this actual revenue and get to my target on time. On the right here we have our open leads subgrid, and all of these are customizable. So as a rep, you're not limited to seeing what you see here, but it is a great location to be able to get an idea of what I need to address today by the activity subgrid here. So I've got tasks that were set forth, what type of opportunities I need to be following up on, and of course this can be sorted by the estimated close date. So I can be looking at ones that are past due, and I can also navigate from this location into the actual opportunity record to close it out. As you can see, I am in the contact section of my business process flow for the opportunity, and I can move that along to close, and then I can close this as one. It pulls in that estimated revenue and saying that today is the day. So as you can see, I now have a large amount. This is my user ID for this login, CIE administrator. This is adding to my won opportunities. So this number will be affected by any one of the opportunities that I close on this end as one. So if they're lost, they won't be showing in that list. Now again, the activity section allows me to go into specific tasks that I need to perform on a daily basis. This is driven by the actual start, so that way I can see when it's going to be showing up within that subgrid on my dashboard. Now as a manager, I'm going to want to see how my teams are performing. So here's trending lines that we have as actual revenue by month. So this gives us a year over year and the ability to see how these trend lines are going. Now again, I can always open these things up and look inside to see what teams are working, I can customize this view to show it based on the ownership within the team. And these charts on the right will actually be reflected by any of the information over here. And I can also filter the information on the left by selecting any one part of the chart. So here we have another subgrid that's set up, another chart that's opportunities by closed probability per rep. So these are the different opportunities that are being closed by 10, 20, or 40. It's just whatever we're selecting within our opportunity form gives us the effective probability amount for that opportunity, and I can then see how well my reps are able to perform based on their own expectations. So at this point, I want to take a look at the system maintenance, because with an online environment, anytime you are going to be adding different types of records, that's going to take up space, and therefore you'll end up having to pay more on a monthly basis. And there's a lot of things that we can do to ensure that we don't have additional expenditures that are unnecessary. Now, there's different processes within the CRM system that allow for workflows, which can basically do anything. We can have any type of trigger, create any type of workflow to create a record, or to edit records, or to send notifications to individuals as things are coming up. But sometimes they don't actually run due to various issues. It could be something that a mailbox is not set up for the recipient, so it could be pending, waiting for that, or it could be that some service wasn't available. In an on-premise environment, you can see this as an issue coming up from an async service. If the network isn't established correctly, or if there's a lot of workflows in the background running, which could create an ongoing requirement for system resources, in which case if it gets too much, the system will suspend those services to ensure that the server stays stable. Now, when you're looking at processes in CRM, from the settings, and this is the administrator's console, simply click on processes, and this gives you a view, just like every other one within the system, that shows you filtered lists based on your criteria, and you're able to create all different types of processes or business process flows. So if we were to say sales flow, and we want to create this as a business process flow, and we're going to do this on the opportunity, you can see I'm given a screen that gives me each stage. So as we saw before on the opportunity form, we have the bar that goes across the top walking through the standardized sales process, and I can build that process here. All of these fields are actually pulling from the opportunity, so therefore when I say that I want something to be affected within my business process flow, it can also reflect on the form itself, which is helpful for printing. I can also determine whether or not those fields are required for this process flow to move to the next stage. Also, I can create branches. So based on the information that's provided within this stage, I could actually have my stages break off into two different directions. This comes into play when you're looking at, for example, new customers versus returning customers, or if there's certain practices. Here at FMT, for example, we have a number of different ERP systems that we put in place, So if, for example, I want to have a specific set of questions required for NetSuite development versus SAP development, I can have an option set loaded within my business process flow, which then gives me two separate branches, one for NetSuite and one for SAP. So again, this standardizes how your sales reps would actually walk through that process, which then again ensures that your teams were able to get all the information required. Management is also able to see all the information they want to see, because you can then ensure that all the information for each type of practice is being captured within that business process flow, and those fields are required for capture to move that stage along, and therefore they are unable to be able to create or win that opportunity without completing all the requisite information. Now, if I want to just say creating one for an automated workflow, this is an incredible, powerful tool. So from here, for example, if I again want to go from an opportunity, and I can actually say this is an on-demand process, which means that whenever I'm in an opportunity, I can select this as a set of options for processes to run, or I can have it triggered whenever the record is created. So in this case, it would be whenever an opportunity is created, I want my workflow down here to run. This just sets it whether or not it's going to be within the business unit for yourself or for the entire organization. Business units are a great way to be able to segment your organization into completely isolated silos. So if you definitely don't want any crossover between different divisions, but want everything to be handled within one CRM system, this is how you would establish that. And so when I select business unit, then I would actually be able to say that anybody within my business unit is able to run this workflow, or it will run automatically whenever something is created. Additionally, I can say, look for any field within the opportunity to change and have that become the trigger source for this workflow to run. Once inside the operations of the workflow, you have a number of different options, and this is what I'm saying about it being such a great tool where we can check for conditions about the opportunity or different fields within it. We can set up wait conditions. So for example, if I want to have something be sent over to someone and then have a timer waiting, so I could say send an email to my department that's going to be following up with SAP SOWs, and I want a wait condition for 1 day before I start sending alerts to management that this has been sitting over in the SAP group's domain and it hasn't returned back. I can do that here. So it just gives you a large amount of flexibility and automation. That's one of the great things about CRM, is that it is so incredibly flexible. So once this was all established, then I would simply click activate, and it would be running based on whatever an opportunity is created within my business unit, and I can have my steps involved. Now, the way to check to see whether or not certain workflows are running or whether they're pending is you can simply go to the process sessions, and this will show you the number of times that it's run and with the status of each. So this status reason will actually populate with the various statements of how that process is performing. Well, if one that was run, then you would see that there. But as you can see, there's a number that have been put into this system. Now, some of these are automatically created when you bring in different modules. So this particular environment has what's called a fantasy sales team, and so all of these were automatically created when fantasy sales team was established. Now, fantasy sales team gives you a very fun way to be able to involve your entire organization with sales by having basically a fantasy football league that allows everyone to pick their best sales reps, and they can create their own teams, and then they can collaborate both within the sales group and also the entire organization, and change weekly or however the game is set up their players so that they can continue to track their favorite ones. It's a great way to be able to involve everyone within the sales cycle and keep everybody apprised of what's going on. Now, when we have pending jobs, this can actually create issues within the system and would actually increase the amount of storage space that's being used. But there's also other ways that you want to ensure that you aren't capturing information that you no longer need. So auditing is a great way to be able to look at every action that's taking place within a record. So you can set auditing to any different type of entity within the system, be it an account or a contact or an opportunity, and then you're able to have a list of all the people who have touched that entity, affected it, when they did so, and so forth. So it's a great way to be able to map. But of course, for each time that is created, it's creating space. It's taking up space within the online service. So this is the very typical area for people to run into a situation where they will go beyond their storage limits and are required to purchase more storage, and they won't understand why that they're generating so much data in their system. And this typically from audit history being turned on and not being cleaned out. So there's different ways that you can have audit and have it removed. You can use workflows, for example, that will then clear your audit history at certain stages. If it's in the system for so long, then you'll be able to have that come up, or you can go in and actually select the different audits that have happened and delete those manually if you want. Now, one of the other really nice aspects of the new CRM system is our interactive service hub. So this gives you the ability to see all different types of information as it relates to your ongoings within CRM. So in this, for example, I'm looking at the knowledge dashboard, and this is for our knowledge base. And this also affects your storage that you're using, because if you have this set up so that your knowledge base is all maintained within CRM, then every type of article that you publish will continue to expand that data usage. Now you can set up SharePoint integrations, so that way you are keeping the information off of your CRM, but of course that would then affect your SharePoint storage. So this is just another place to keep in mind, ensuring that your knowledge base, your KB, is set up where active articles are updated and you're keeping the most current up instead of just adding more and more versions, so that way you're able to maintain the same level of storage while keeping the information up to date, and then you just archive the other articles whenever you're ready. And this gives you the active articles. Now you can also see which ones have been published. You can see where they are within the process. So as somebody is creating a draft, that would simply be in a draft status, and then it would be reviewed or needing review, and then when it's approved and then published, that would actually put that out to the entire organization. So as you can see, again, I've got these tiles on the right here saying that I have 8 published articles. So managing the knowledge base is a very effective way to maintain a proper storage amount and not to be going beyond what you need to for operations of your company, keeping your costs down. So that concludes the demonstration of the various systems when we're looking at marketing or sales automation, sales performance, as well as system administration. And you're able to control your business operations, see effectively how you're operating within your marketing sphere, and then how your sales teams are delivering on those budgets, and then also how to be able to maintain systems so that way everything is running smoothly and you aren't exceeding your storage limits within CRM. With that, I'll hand it back over to Olivia. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thanks, Jeff, for that very informative presentation on CRM. So right now we're going to pull up to see if we have any questions for Jeff, and I am just checking on that really fast. But it doesn't look like we have any, so we'll just leave the question box open for a couple more seconds, and If not, feel free to email Jeff or myself, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you. Also, we'll be sending out a video of this webinar to anyone who is in attendance, and you can also find it on our YouTube page as well as our website. So with that being said, that concludes our webinar for today. Hope everyone has a great day, and thanks for attending.